I'm gonna show you a simple step-by-step way to get the perfect loaf of sourdough from beginning to end in one video. Sourdough does not have to be complicated. I'm not a professional. However, I make really freaking beautiful loaves of sourdough, if I do say so myself. Get my active starter. It's all fed and ready to use. We're gonna use 200 grams. My recipe does make 2 loaves, so if you only want one, then just half all this. And my water filter is out of commission right now, so I am gonna just use water bottles. We're gonna do 780 grams of water. And then I'm just gonna use my dough whisk to mix up the starter and the water. You don't need a dough whisk, you can just use a fork or whatever. I like my dough whisk because it makes me feel fancy. And then we're going to add our flour. I use the King Arthur's unbleached bread flour. I get this from Sam's or Costco in bulk, it's the cheapest there. I'm gonna do 1,060 grams. Okay. I already have some in the oven, look how pretty she is. And then I'm gonna add 20 grams of salt. You can literally use any type of salt. If you're off by like a couple grams on any of these things, don't worry about it, it's fine, it'll be completely okay. Combine all this up until it is in a shaggy dough. Now you're not trying to make this look perfect or anything. It is gonna look like a mess. This is what it's gonna look like. Then you don't have to do this part, but I like to use a little scraper and scrape down the sides just so my bowl is not as messy. And then just cover it. You can cover it with whatever you want. You can use saran wrap, a towel, whatever. If I'm gonna convince you to do one thing that is like considered extra when you're making sourdough, get yourself some little shower caps off Amazon. It's like $10 for like a million of them. So easy to just throw one on your bread, and then you can reuse this throughout the entire process. Now we're just gonna let this sit on the counter for 1 hour. All right, it's been 1 hour. Now it's time for stretch and folds. I just got my hands wet with some water so it doesn't stick to my hand. And then we're just gonna stretch and fold it 8 times. 1, turn, 2, turn, 3, turn, 4, turn, 5, turn, 6, turn, 7, turn, 8. We're gonna cover it up again, let it sit for another half hour, and then do another set of stretch and folds. It's been 30 minutes. Now we're gonna do the next set of stretch and fold, get my hands wet, and then we're gonna do it 8 times again. Stretch, fold, turn, 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 stretch, fold, turn. Pretty sure this is 8. Stretch, fold, and cover it back up and let it sit for another half hour. Okay, it's been another 30 minutes, so it's time for our last set of stretch and folds. Wet my hands. I think you know the drill at this point. Now we're done with stretch and folds, and I'm going to leave it to sit on the counter for 5 hours. During the summer, I'll do like 3 to 5 hours. In the winter, whenever my house is colder like this, I definitely leave it for like at least 5 hours, and then it'll be ready to shape. Well, it's been almost 8 hours, and it's safe to say she's ready. It actually looks just about perfect. It's like nice and jiggly, and you can see the bubbles in there. You're perfect like always. Now I know some people don't flour their surface first, but I flour my surface first because I don't feel like dealing with it sticking to my counter. I'm just gonna scrape her out. Oh, literally perfect. And like I said, my recipe makes 2 loaves, so I'm going to divide this in 2, just eyeballing it. We're gonna set one of them to the side and shape this one. See, it's so forgiving. Like, it would have been fine if I shaped it 3 hours ago. It's fine that I'm shaping it now. I'm not doing any inclusions in this loaf, so it doesn't really matter how I shape it. So I'm just gonna kind of fold in all the sides, flip it over, and then we're just going to push it and pull it. Push and pull. And you're just kind of like creating tension and shaping it into a loaf and making it nice and tight. I'm just gonna use a Banneton basket, and I'm going to flour it real nice and good. You could also just use like a bowl with a tea towel. I love using these. I think they're so totally worth it. It just makes it so easy. And I'm literally just gonna take my loaf and flip him in here upside down. And now he's ready to go in the fridge. Shape the second one. Push, pull. None of this has to be perfect. You're literally just trying to shape it into a loaf and build a little bit of tension. Flour my basket and plop them in. And then we get to use our shower caps again. We're just gonna cover it up, and then they are ready to stick in the fridge to cold proof overnight. I'm just gonna stick them in, and then I'm gonna bake them at some point tomorrow morning. You can leave it in the fridge for 8 hours. You could leave it in the fridge for 3 days. It's not that particular. It's the next morning. They've been in the fridge all night, so now it's time to bake them. I'm gonna use some parchment paper, and then I'm literally just going to flip it down onto the parchment paper. I use my little flour sifter and just sift flour onto the top of it. You don't even really have to do this. I do it mainly just for like the looks, and just spread it around. And all the flour does is just like make your score more obvious whenever you score it. You can score it however you want. If you just want to do like a line down the middle, or like across, or you can just do a line like this. I like to do little lines going down in the shape of a V, and then I do that 4 times around the loaf. This is like my signature score. It's just my favorite way to do it, and it's really easy. And then I just do a big line down this way and a big line down this way, so it's just like a big cross. And this is what it looks like after I'm done scoring it. Pop it down, flour it, score it. Pour it down the middle. Now they're ready to go in their Dutch ovens. And then just set them in your Dutch oven. And then I have my oven preheated to 450 and I'm gonna put them in for 30 minutes. Okay, my oven wasn't preheated, so. After 30 minutes at 450, we're gonna take them out of the oven and take the lids off. All right, they've been in the oven for 30 minutes. Now we're gonna take the lids off, and this is the big reveal. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Beautiful, gorgeous, so far. Now I'm gonna put them back in the oven for 20 minutes. My timer just went off, so I'm gonna pull them out of the oven real quick. The sun is like not my friend today. So pretty. So beautiful. Just lift them out of their Dutch oven. And I just set them straight on my counter, which is probably not great, but it's okay. Now I'm gonna let them sit on the counter for like maybe an hour-ish. I just let them cool down enough that I can like touch them comfortably. Then we'll cut into one of them and see what our crumb shot looks like. Okay, they are cool enough to touch, but still nice and warm. First of all, look how gorgeous. Literally perfection. You can see this is why I do the flour, because it makes the scoring more like pronounced and obvious. Okay, don't judge me for the way that my knife cuts. I actually just ended up ordering one of those like legit bread knives. Here we go. This is the best part. Get ready for the crumb shot. Ah, she's beautiful. She's beautiful as always. You're always beautiful. Nice and squishy and soft. It is so, so forgiving. Do not be intimidated by sourdough at all. It's just bread.